Yo, 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 yo.
You
I'm No Justin No Peace,
and I'm the
and
Rivers.
we are the Loose Cannons Podcast because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture,
What else?
politics,
What
movies and
else?
TV, and how they all intersect. And oh, baby, do we have a good episode for you guys?
We sure do.
Episode 63,
Hey,
second one this week.
yes.
Listen, right now, guys, if you're on YouTube, listen, if you're listening to us on the platform, you want to see our faces, go over to YouTube, the Loose Cannons Podcast. You can check us out. The link is going to be in the description. But if you are watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And share this with some of your friends. Share this on your Facebook feed. You know what I mean? Don't keep us to yourself. But listen, we got
Don't be selfish.
Don't be
Don't be
selfish.
selfish.
We got a real good episode for you guys. We're finishing up our Safdie Brothers series.
Okay.
The last time we were here, we did Uncut Gems, and this time we're gonna do our Good Time review and Heaven Knows What.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
let's start with Good Time.
Yes, definitely.
Listen, Good Time, directed by the Safdie Brothers, written by the Safdie Brothers, and this is like another third dude, like I forgot his name. I think it's like Bronstein. But starring
Ronald Bronstein.
Ronald Bronstein, starring Rob Pattinson.
Yes, Robert Pattinson.
From the Twilight movies. I mean, he's been in a bunch of other things at this point. He was in The Lighthouse with William Dafoe. And so this was the Safdie brothers. So apparently how this movie came about, Rob Pattinson saw an image from Heaven Only Waits, which we're going to be reviewing also. He saw an image from it. The movie didn't even come out. He thought that the image was so dope, he wanted to sit down and talk to these guys. And they were already working on Uncut Gems, not filming it. They had been working on this project for 10 years, apparently, for Uncut Gems. But in between, they decided to do this movie. And one of the Safdie brothers plays the brother, Rob Pattinson's brother, in this. And I'm like, yo, wow. Wow. So first thoughts. Good Time.
Good Time. I was like, I don't know. It looks good, but you know, if you felt like Robert Pattinson was already typecasted into, like, I was just like, all right, his career is done, you know. But after watching this, I was like, oh, okay,
Okay. Okay. I see where this is going. Okay.
I'm impressed.
Okay,
He's an actor.
He's an actor. Yep.
Yeah. I saw this before I saw Uncut Gems.
Oh well, that's even. I think it's that better way to see it.
Yeah, and I was definitely like, oh, this is different. You know, the style, the tempo, everything. Because after watching after watching all their movies, you kind of see like everything's upbeat and it keeps you on, the entire time. There's no break, there's no lulls in their writing. Like, you are on it 24/7 from beginning to end.
That's right.
So it was definitely good. Definitely something that more than piqued my interest afterwards. I was like, all right, I gotta see this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. The acting was great. They don't. I like the fact that they don't try to have someone do anything that they're not capable of doing. So definitely, you see that in Uncut Gems. I always tell you, like, I think that comedians make the best actors because their range is so much more than someone who can't do comedy. So seeing Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems and then Robert Pattinson in this, I was just like, okay, all right, I like it. And who else is in this? Jennifer Jason Leigh. So, and she plays a good role, playing his girlfriend. Yeah. So I definitely like that.
Yep.
I was like, all right, I like their writing. I like them putting actors in a scene and like, yo, go to work.
Work.
Definitely. What did you think?
I really enjoyed this movie. I seen it in the reverse. I watched Uncut Gems first, and then I watched this. Naturally, because I'm watching this, I see where Uncut Gems came from. Like, like I feel they are establishing almost a feel to their movies. They're establishing similar to what Christopher Nolan does, utilizing the music and the oddness of the music, but creating some sort of pacing. The one thing that I do like that they did with this was the opening is an opening. Like the opening credits gives you a lot of the information, and it lasts at least like 10, 15 minutes of the whole movie of like opening and setting you into this world. And they do a really good job of throwing you into the world, and now you're like, well, I'm here. I'm here now.
Right.
And just like Uncut Gems, I love the doubling down and the new creation of issues that the main character has to go through. But yeah, it was an adventure that I really enjoyed. I watched it on the projector, so it was nice to see it large, almost 100 inches, and it was like, man, like, okay, I see why people were looking at these dudes like, that's 2 for 2 right now. But
right, definitely.
The story was, I like how they really give you a lot of information about them, but their stories really don't take place over a long period of time. Like, right. And I think in Good Time, maybe 2-3 days, maybe.
Yeah, 2 days, I think.
Maybe 2 days, and interesting ways of doing things. Like even the robbery scene was like an interesting way of doing the robbery. The type of like the natural things of having these two types of individuals next to each other, like the two brothers and one having all the complications, and the what that creates for the whole story. And I just thought it was dope. But like the one thing I really like about the movie is obviously he's a criminal. He's a criminal, but it's endearing that this criminal does have some principles. And the principles is like, this is my brother. Like, I will do anything to take care of my brother.
Right.
Even though, like, I brought him into this mess. I could have not brought him into this mess, but, I brought him into this mess, and I will do anything to get him out. And I just thought it was, like, super dope the way that they went about telling this story.
Right. It's definitely that whole, like you said, the whole doubling down as far as, all right, I got to take care of my brother no matter what. And every time the problem gets worse, all right, I still got to figure it out. I still got to figure it out. All right, it got a little bit worse. I still got to figure it out. And just like Uncut Gems, it's like, I got to make this money. And it was just like, all right, well, if I don't have the stone, I can't make this money. So I got to get the stone back. And if I can't get this money the way that I'm supposed to get this money, I can't take care of what I got to take care of. I can't pay back whoever I got to pay back, So it's definitely, I love that idea of it.
They make it clear what the obstacle is, and they make it clear exactly. We really don't know how they're going to get out of the situation. So that's the whole thing, is you're watching the person attempt to get out of the situation. And in that, you've become connected to that person. You naturally just want them to get out of the situation, no matter what it was. He literally just robbed the bank with his special needs brother and caused this whole situation. But you want him to win in many regards, even down to him beating up the security guard. Like, it's like, guess we had to do that.
Yeah.
Like, we had to do that.
And it's always like, if one thing aligns, this will be over. Like, this will all be over if one thing works out.
Yes. And
every time it doesn't work out, you're like, all right, what else can we do? What's next? What else can we do? So I definitely enjoyed that.
One thing I know, watching those two, their characters don't really win in these two movies. Like, the main character doesn't win. Somebody does win, though. Someone does benefit. In Uncut Gems, obviously, his girlfriend's going to benefit from all that money. In this one, hopefully. In this one, well, we don't know. In this one, it's kind of a good ending with, the brother getting out of jail. Spoiler. Sorry, guys. But with the brother getting out of jail and then finally getting the help that he needs. But in this one, I feel like there was more of a traditional story, because there is redemption to the main character, because I believe we're led to believe that, he said it was all my fault. You know what I mean? After he got called, it was like, it's all me. Let him out of jail. And we learned that through the psychologist saying, your brother did the right thing. and the brother finally going and being able to get the help and being around in the community that's going to support him. But man, I really enjoyed the ride. Some things were a little interesting. What was in that lady, the Haitian lady's fridge? Was that like some voodoo stuff? Was that what we were supposed to believe? Was she like a crazy horde? What was going on?
I don't know. I mean, looking at it, I was just like, it's one of those details character building. Like I was just like, all right, what is she doing in the house?
What was she doing in the house?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then it kind of made me cringe with the girl seeming so young.
Right. And he's like in his mid-20s, and
he's got to be in his mid-20s, and she's 6. They make it clear. They don't even. Right. They don't leave her age out of it. They make it clear.
Right.
It just felt uncomfortable. Obviously, he was using her. She was easy to be used. It was really, but.
And I think that it was one of those things where we're supposed to get more of the type of person he is. Like, all right, he's willing to do anything. Because he's desperate right now. So
desperate.
And then we seen who was the security guard? The dude from Captain Phillips. I'm the captain now.
Yes. That was him. Okay. Yes, the Somalian pirate dude. Yep.
Yeah. So I definitely like the fact that like it takes so many cuts and goes everywhere from when they're in the apartment to when they're at Adventureland. So they do a good job of like he's all over the city basically,
over.
Just trying to figure it out.
The title. Where does the title come from? I haven't heard them speak about the title.
Honestly, I don't even know.
Let me ask you a question. Was there not a amusement park near the New York City area named Good Times?
I don't know.
I gotta look that up. Maybe somebody out there is looking it up as they listening. I could have sworn it was like a small amusement park situation by the name of Good Times, or like an arcade by the name of Good Times in New York City. But if it was an amusement park, I didn't know if that was a connection to the amusement park that they end up going to towards the end. But
well, the amusement park they used was Adventureland in Long Island.
Adventureland in Long Island, got it.
You ever been there?
I'm pretty sure I've been to Adventureland because it was mad small.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but there was another. I don't know if that was in Long Island, but there was like another small amusement park that I remember going to when I was younger. I don't know if it was Ride Playland. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I got your back, player.
But yeah, but this I enjoyed. If you enjoy Uncut Gems, you'll definitely enjoy this. Now, the difference between this and Uncut Gems, I think that the cinematography in Uncut Gems is just way better. And I believe that they end up working with somebody different for the cinematography on Uncut Gems, and that just shows
like, that by itself.
By itself, like it's. But I mean, it's the aesthetic and what they were going for. It's still very similar. It's still very similar. I think all three of their films still have a somewhat of a cohesion, a feeling that transfers over, especially in the music. The music kind of is like super close. But let's rate it.
Okay. Good time. I gave it a 3.5, just because it definitely was in the same realm, but the execution of Uncut Gems is just that much more for me. But I love the fact that Robert Pattinson was able to reestablish himself.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's definitely not, this is not Twilight.
Oh, this is not Twilight.
Twilight. Okay. But definitely when I watched this made me go, oh, what else have they done? And then when I saw Uncut Gems, I was like, oh, when this comes out, I'm going to go watch this. So
this was good. This was
definitely
good. I'm with you on the 3.5.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it to the point where it's how you enjoy something is really about how it leaves with you and what you if something I want to talk about like right after, then that's how I know that I've watched something that was really enjoyable, and it just I like when people make unheroic people heroes in a way. Like this is really by all means is not like a good person, but the complexity is like he's not that bad of a person, is he? Like no one's all good and all bad, you know. They just
Right.
but they kind of show you, you know, they don't give him a reason for why they're committing the crime at the beginning, but they do give you a reason for why he's doing all the other things that he's doing. And you know, like isn't that endearing, loving your brother so much that, you know, you'll do anything for him, you know?
Right.
I think that's endearing.
It's like when you give the anti-hero good intention.
Yeah.
And when you can see yourself in someone, regardless of whether they're good or bad, but you can see yourself in them,
Yep.
you know, that kind of idea.
Yep.
You
And I think
definitely see
someone
that.
always dies at the those two movies. Someone dies at the end.
Right.
But yeah, I know I enjoy. I think this is a must watch for a lot of people, and I think this is a good watch as an independent filmmaker to see like what could be done, story wise. You know, it was just really clever, and they have an intimate way of shooting. And as we transition, they really start that intimate way of shooting in their first film, Heaven Knows What.
Yes.
Um, which is based off of a book by the person who's starring in the movie. I believe like her real name is Ariel, and she wrote a book, and they read the book, and they were interested in making the film. Now, I'll just tell you from the beginning when there was something that said I was reading, and it said that this is next to a Requiem for a Dream. Like this is the best thing next to a Requiem, or this is the current a Requiem for a Dream. I just want to say stop. That's not it. That's not it.
Yeah.
These niggas is not Darren Aronofsky. Okay, they may be good, but don't put smut on Darren's name. Like he's not to be he's not to be messed with. He's not your average, okay? But like initial this is the least entertaining of the three films.
Yeah.
Um
All right, so we're jumping right into it.
let's go right into it. Heaven Knows What. Initial thoughts. It was the least entertaining of all three films.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep.
It stars Ariel Holmes.
Ariel Holmes.
Yeah, and she plays Harley.
Yes.
She plays like a homeless heroin addict who's stuck between her ex, who's a user abuser, right? And
this is her life story, though.
Right, basically.
This is her life story, and this is what was written in the book. The dude who's in the movie who plays, I think, Mike. He plays Mike, who's the drug dealer / heroin addict, who's also in Good Time. I believe that he's a real like street dude that they end up finding. But the dude who plays her boyfriend, I forgot his name. He's an actor.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a number of things. Looking weird and creepy. Like he's in his bag when he could be.
I was gonna say, isn't he? He's in Get Out. Isn't he the brother?
The brother in Get Out.
He's the brother from Get Out.
He's definitely always creepy and weird. But this is obviously the Safdie brothers putting us into a world, and we're following these homeless drug addicts, heroin addicts, as they're getting their fixes and just making it through life. The interesting thing is like the focus on like, you know, their relationships and the dysfunction of their relationships and them trying to basically just survive and some of the things that they're doing to survive. Could this been a shorter film? I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's dragged out a little too much. Unlike Uncut Gems and Good Times, I don't think a lot of the points in the movie really propel you forward in your, like, I want to know what happened next. I want to know what happened next. I didn't really care about Harley in this movie.
Right.
Like,
They didn't, but I think that if they were staying true to the memoir, then they didn't have a lot to develop her character around,
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
but I mean, I think that in watching the three movies, that's where you can see their growth.
yeah.
Like, Robert Pattinson is a good, well-developed character,
Yes.
but Adam Sandler is like to the
Whew,
T.
a
You
life
see
right here.
everything. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that it's the growth of them being writers and the growth
Yes.
of them being directors. So
Now, the one thing about this film that I will say, it does have a quality of feeling very real. Like, it does feel like I'm watching some addicts.
yeah,
I if these were like the standard of homeless addicts, like if I had to put their performance up against Samuel L. Jackson and Halle Berry, as I'm gonna choose these addicts over those addicts. Like,
right.
these feel like realer addicts,
For real.
for real addicts, and those seem like Hollywood addicts, who say some interesting things. But so they do create a world of realism. They do create a world of like watching in and peering in on someone's life as if you were just, like you were watching from a park bench, these people living out their lives. So that is amazing in itself as filmmaking, to be able to create that feeling. But I didn't feel the connection to the character. I didn't feel anything for the character, and it felt like, even though it's a real story, the ending came from nowhere.
Right.
And there's two parts to the ending. Someone dies. Well, we're just gonna say her boyfriend dies horribly. He gets burnt alive. That's horrible. And she just goes back to her life. She doesn't know that the boyfriend is dead yet, but
Right.
she just goes back to, you know, living the same life. They don't really resolve. It's not like one of those movies in which she's like, oh, now she's clean and back with her parents and, working at
Well,
Wendy's.
so the crazy part is that her boyfriend, the character that her boyfriend is based off of, he died like a month or two before the movie came out. So
God.
he didn't die in the movie, like in
Oh,
her
in her
memoirs, but
memoir.
right, but he died in real
Wow.
life, and that's
Got
crazy.
you. That
But
is crazy.
the difference between Good Time and Uncut Gems is that we always have a character doubling down and they have a goal.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a goal throughout the movie. It's not like she's trying to get clean
No.
or she's out there like wanting to get back with him in the first place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't even come back into her life until like halfway or three quarters through
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
So we didn't even know like that's something that she wanted,
Yeah.
So it's something that we needed to see develop over the time. But I definitely got the whole like, oh, this is as far as being stuck in that type of relationship and
Yeah.
being stuck with somebody else who's taking care of you. Do you go back to the person who you really love?
Yeah.
That sort of, yeah. So
I think that what is very clear is, like, telling a person's real story is very different from creating a story that's entertaining and that
right,
works as a movie, because this story was probably really what happened.
right,
Probably really
exactly.
what happened, and it's not always as entertaining, and the motives aren't always as clear. But I'm assuming what they were trying to do with this movie was make it very realistic, almost like a documentary, as if we're peering into this world and making this beautiful recreation of a person's real life. And they were successful in that. But
Yeah.
and you could tell that they can make something. But Good
Mm-hmm.
Times says you can fuck with us. You can make a movie that people are gonna talk about and feel something about. Because, like, it's important. You feel connected to those characters in Good Time. And then Adam Sandler, it's just like gut
Mm-hmm.
wrenching what happens at the end. You're like, ah.
Now, so look, I would propose that if they redid this movie, that they would do it from the perspective of Ilya, her boyfriend. and then it would make more sense to us because he's more like Robert Pattinson's character or what you call it, and then we can see him struggling to trying to be the man that she wants.
Yeah.
If we saw it from his perspective.
Yeah.
But the drugs is what tears him down. And then seeing the conclusion of him dying later on and her getting back with Mike, you know, and then that would be the conclusion, and we can see it that way more.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So what did you rate it?
I mean, I don't want to be mean to the Safdie brothers, but this was a 2.5.
Oh,
and it was a 2.5 for particular reasons. I seen something that is like, oh wow, like I can respect the fact that they've made something in a certain world, but it doesn't work as an entertaining film. It just isn't entertaining. It isn't something that I want to go back to necessarily. It isn't something that I want to, tell stories about. But it's nice to have seen in their catalog. I'm glad that I seen Good Times and Uncut Gems before this, because I don't know if I would have really followed them based off of this movie. Some people are impressed. I just wasn't. But I like to see the growth. I like to see that this is where they came from, and Uncut Gems is where they've arrived. And, that's in 3 pictures. And I'm like, man, like, okay, so keep going like this. Damn, like, these guys are going to be great, It's going to be like the Scott brothers, the Coen brothers. But, yeah, it just wasn't entertaining for me.
All right. I gave it a 2.5 also, which is odd. But like I said, I feel like anything that's a 1 is terrible. Anything that is 2 is watchable.
It's
anything
definitely watchable.
Anything that's a 3 is something that I want to talk about. Anything that's a 4 and up is a classic. That's it. So, but yeah, I definitely, like I said, I definitely feel the same way. It's there, and you can see the promise of it, but you can see the storytelling. Like, all right, cool. Yeah. All right, I see what y'all can do.
Yeah, for sure.
This isn't the story that's going to highlight your capabilities.
No.
Like, So, but it's a good landing platform for your first film. So yeah,
I think they used like $84,000 to make this or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I don't know. I think I'm gonna say it was less than that. I think that's only what the box office did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is not easy. It's not even easy to make a 2.5. It really isn't. Like, there's a lot. If you go through YouTube, there's a lot of bad clips of people in bad stuff, and it's like to get to this of photorealism and feeling like real New York City streets. Like, you just can't put a camera out and make it feel real with actors. So there is something there, but it just wasn't entertaining as a full story. Didn't make me connect. But yeah, 2.5. Safdie brothers, that's real dope. Where we going next week? Who we starting with? We doing Barry Jenkins. He has a short situation. You got Medicine for Melancholy.
Okay.
You got he ends with Moonlight, right? Oh no, Medicine for Melancholy, Moonlight, and then what's that? If Bill Street Can Talk.
Right. Okay.
So that's 3 weeks of reviews.
Okay, we can do that.
All right, you hear that now, ladies and gentlemen. Our next director that we're following is another new director, Barry Jenkins. We're starting with Medicine for Melancholy, which I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find on streaming platforms. So we'll start with that. We start with that or Bill Street? Which way we going?
We'll start with the first one.
All right, so we're starting with Medicine for Melancholy. All right, so you guys got a week. Until next time, I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons Podcast, because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
What else?
Movies and TV and how they all intersect. And oh, baby, that we have a good week of movies. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe on any platform. Listen, if you're listening to us on Apple, before you get off, go and rate and review our show. Let us know if we're doing stuff great, if we're doing stuff not so great. But if we are, this is going to be great for us because it just allows Apple to know that people are listening and people like what we're doing and will maybe suggest us to some other people. But until next time, we out. Peace.